A mail merge is creating a form letter that you want to send multiple times but to different recipients. So for example, if I have a database of 1,000 customers that I want to send a thank you letter to, the same letter to all of them, all I have to do is create that letter once using the mail merge feature is insert the fields that I have within the database, like their first name, last name. I mean, if you're keeping track of your customers in a database, I don't know what database you use, don't you usually have a field for the first name, a field for the last name? That's all I'm doing here. Inserting the first name, last name, so it says Dear, if their first name is Bob and last name is Jones, it says Dear Bob Jones. And any other field that I can pull in from that database, like the number of training videos that they purchased. That way I can get more personable and say thank you for purchasing, and then it has that field there, 5, 6, 8 videos. So you can insert the fields, and then it'll merge the fields into that one letter. And if I have 1,000 customers, I have 1,000 records, Microsoft's mail merge will say, okay, go ahead and merge all those records into this one letter. In which case, because it's not going to insert it into one letter, it's going to create it 1,000 times, one for each customer in my database or one for each record, with their first name and last name and, well, any other fields that I decide to insert into my letter here. So to get started, let me show you that letter that I'm going to be using, and also the database that I have to pull my clients into my letter, their first name, last name. Let me minimize this down to the taskbar. Come up here, open up the exercises folder, and there it is, Clients Merge Letter. Let me double click to open it up. And there you go. Thank you for purchasing Online Video Trainer training videos. In any case, let's close out of that. And my clients I have stored in my workbook here. It's Microsoft Excel. If you don't know anything about Excel, then you want to watch my training videos. But it's my database in the Excel spreadsheet. Let me go ahead and double click to open it up. And I got a total of 3 clients. Isn't that fun? I've got Homer, Wilberforce. There's their first name field, last name field, address, city, state, zip, and the total number of videos that they purchased from us. Now, I've got a gap in between these 2 customers and the third one down below. And the reason why is because in my training videos, I try to cover every possible error or problem that you could run into. In other words, if you don't keep your database tight and it's clean, all your records together and not, these gaps, then I try to hit that in this training video here. But I do cover this in my Access database training videos or my Excel training videos, which is a dummy down version of Access when it comes to using it for database purposes. In any case, you can watch those videos, okay? Let me go ahead and close out. So those are the customers that I'm pulling in into this letter right here. Let me go ahead and open up Microsoft Word. And you're probably asking, hey, why don't you just go ahead and open up the letter and just insert those merge fields? Well, there's 2 ways to go about doing this when you start the mail merge wizard. That's going to ask you questions, you give it answers. Based upon those answers, it's going to go ahead and pull in the fields from the database into that letter. Well, when it comes to the letter, you can either create it by using the blank document, or if you have a letter out there, like I just showed you in my exercises folder down here, you can have that automatically pulled in as well. So I wanted to show you both ways, okay? In case if you didn't have one automatically created when you're diving into using the Mail Merge Wizard. So to start this, come up here, click on the Mailings tab, go to the Start Mail Merge group, and there it is, Start Your Mail Merge. Click on the drop-down arrow. Now you can do it for letters, email messages, envelopes, labels, a directory, or you can use Step-by-Step Mail Merge Wizard, which actually, when you use the wizard, gives you all these options here. Go ahead and click on it, opens up the task pane over to the right-hand side, and it says, okay, what type of document are you working on? Again, it lists it, as we just saw in the drop-down arrow. Is it going to be a letter, email message, envelopes, labels, directory? You go ahead and choose one. I'm going to do a letter. Click Next, so we can go to Step 2, and it says, okay, how do you want to set up your letters? Do you want to use the current document, start from a template, or start from an existing document? Now remember, I already have a letter out there. If I didn't, I can go ahead and just leave it there, use the current document, just type in a letter. Just go ahead and type in, Dear, and then leave it open because I need to insert those fields that addresses the customers in my database dynamically. So it's a field that says, okay, pull in the first name, pull in the last name. In any case, let me go ahead and hit undo. So I'm not going to use the current document. I have one out there, so I'm going to start from an existing one that says, okay, when you select this, where is it? I'm going to go ahead and click Open. And it's on my desktop. You can see on my desktop. I can come over here in the navigation pane, select Desktop, and I'm already there. And it's in my Exercises folder. Double-click to open it up. And it's right there, the Clients Merge Letter. Go ahead and select it, click Open, and it just pulls it right in. Just as if you were typing, okay? So once I have my letter created or pulled in here, and I'm still on Step 2 of 6, let's go ahead and go to the next step, which is to select my recipients. In other words, who's going to be getting this letter? Is it going to be one person, 2 persons, 3 or 4 or 5 or more? In Now, I can either use an existing list, select from Outlook contacts, or type in a new list. If I go ahead and select Outlook contacts, then I choose a contacts folder, click on it, it opens up, and the default folder that I have is contacts. Go ahead and click OK, and it should pull those contacts in. Let me click cancel. Or, if you don't have Microsoft Outlook, by the way, if you do, you want to watch my training videos on Outlook. In any case, go ahead and select type in a new list, and you can come down here and create it. When you click on create, it gives you the default fields up here, like the title, Mr. or Mrs. I can type in Mr. and then just start typing, and then use the tab key to go from one field to the next. And then when I need to go ahead and add a new record, come down here and say new entry. And then just go ahead and keep typing, and you can scroll over to the right hand side and see all the fields here. Now, if these aren't the fields that you want to use, you have other fields that you want to go ahead and add to the entry, then just come down here and click on Customize Columns. You can go ahead and add, and if you want to type in, like let's say we're sending out a letter for people who purchase movie tickets from us, we can go ahead and say this is the number of movie ticket purchased. Have a field for that, click Okie dokie, and then you can move your fields up and down. Like if these fields in the back you use a lot of, like the email address, go ahead and select it and click move up several times, to move it up so it's over to the far left hand side here. In case we got movie tickets purchased there, let's click OK. We added it. There it is, movie tickets. Kurt purchased 3. Let me go ahead and say Shirley purchased 4. You get the idea. You can also delete the entry. I won't do that right now. But before I do that, let's go ahead and click Find. Let's say that I want to find. Let's see if Kurt's in there somewhere. Click Find Next. Know how it jumps right to that entry right here, the record. Okay, found him. Click Cancel. We'll delete him. Are you sure? Yes, he's gone. Okay. In any case, I can go ahead and add all my records here. When I'm done, go ahead and click OK. And then it opens up and it says, okay, you added a bunch of records. I have to save it somewhere. I'm not going to save your database within the Word document. I'll link it to it so you can, pull the fields from your database. And this database that it's creating, it's going to be saved as an Access database, a .mdb. Now, if you don't know anything about Access, then you want to watch my Access training videos. But in any case, you don't really need to watch the Access training videos if you're going to keep it simple here. And all I'm doing is I'm just saving the records that I entered. Let's do it to my desktop and call it, and click Save. And it does two things. It actually saves my database to the desktop, and then it opens up and it shows me a list of all the people in the database. So that way, if I need to make any changes, come down here and select it, my customers.mdb, click Edit, brings up the window. I can go ahead and do a new entry, Mr. Hey, I purchased 5 tickets. It's me again, Kurt. Okay, you get the idea. Go ahead and click OK. Do you want to update your recipient and save the changes? Yes. Now let me go ahead and click OK, and let me minimize this down to the taskbar to show you that there's my database right there, okay? And there's the ghost of it. What that means is that when I'm working in the database, if it accidentally shuts down on me, it's got this as keeping track of the latest entries that I have. So it's like an auto recovery, okay? Once I close out of the database, this thing will disappear and I'll have my original file. This is basically, again, backup. Let me come back down here, click on it to restore it, but I'm not using this database here. I don't want to go ahead and create my own because I already have one out there and it's in Excel. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and select a different list. Come over here in the task pane, select it. It's on my desktop, it's in my exercises folder, and remember, it's my mailing list here that I have in Microsoft Excel, the workbook. Let's go ahead and select it, click Open, and then it says, okay, within that workbook you have 3 worksheets. Your database is on which worksheet? Well, it's the first one, so it's automatically selected. Just click OK. It opens up, and there we go. Just like you saw not too long ago, we have my clients, Homer, Wilberforce, Doug, and then I have that empty row there that pulled in. All I have to do is go ahead and uncheck it, so when I'm done, it doesn't actually pull it into my letters here because we don't want to pull in somebody who's not there. That's what I'm saying, keep your databases clean. And if not, and you get a blank record, just uncheck it so it doesn't pull in. Now, you do have the data source down below that you can select here, and it's my mailing list, Excel workbook. Click on Edit, and you can create new entries here, but you can't delete them because, well, this is coming from the workbook. You can go ahead and find additional ones. You can't customize the columns. Again, we have that default database that's pulling it in. We didn't create it. Let's go ahead and click Cancel. You can also sort them by last name. Click on the last name column header, and it sorts them ascendingly here. H's down to the S's, click on it again, and it sorts it just the opposite, descending from the lower end of the alphabet to the upper end here. You can also come down here and click on the sort arrow, and it brings up this window, and you can choose, do I want to sort it by last name or first name, ascending or descending, and then click OK if it's for first name. Then it sorts it by first name, so no longer last name. and it's ascending the D's before the H's, before the end of the alphabet here down in the W's. You also have these drop down arrows you can click on. You can sort also here as well. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a rabbit here. So you can sort ascending, descending. You can also do some filters that say, hey, I just want to see Doug, so it filters everybody else out. How do you know it's filtered? Well, if you look up here on that little drop down triangle, that's black, but that's a light shade. So this is the column that's being filtered. Click on the drop down arrow and say that you want to see all of them again. Okay. Or you can come down here and click on the filter option. Click and drag this so you can see it. And say for the field that we want to filter by will be the state, and it has to be equal to, let's take a look, who do we want to do? Let's say California, so we can type in CA and click OK, and it filters everybody else out. When I scroll over, you can see that the state field is a light shade of blue, so that's the field that's being filtered. It doesn't delete the records, it just pulls in only those records that you want to see. So if I want to clear the filter, you can click on its corresponding drop down arrow and say all, or you can click on the filter button again and say clear all, click OK. We're back to where we started. So this is what I'm going to use the list here. Again, I'll uncheck this blank record and just pull in Doug, Homer, and Wilberforce, click OK. And now I have my recipients ready to go and merge those fields, like their first name and last name, into my document here. Okay, now that we have our recipients selected, well, a database that has our recipients in there, and it's my mailing list Excel workbook, we can come down here, go to the next step, which is to write our letter, click on it, and it says, okay, do you want to go ahead and insert an address block, something generic? When you click on it, it opens up, and it gives you a preview of one of the recipients in your database. This one's Homer Simpson, and it says, what kind of format do you want to display within the address block? Do you want their full name and any junior titles here, or do you just want their first name, like Homer? Okay. In any case, go ahead and select one of the formats. And then if there are fields, like an address to field, that's not being pulled in here, like their suite or something like that, then come down here and click on Match Fields, and it will have the address fields that are required and other fields down below. And you can see that what it's trying to do is it's trying to match up the fields that it sees within your database, the field that it would see within the Word document. And so like you said, let me scroll down. If you have a second address field or a third address field and it can't match it because, well, it doesn't understand the name that you have in your database, like maybe my third address field in my database is called ADD and it can't match up the exact names here, then go ahead and select, ADD, whatever field that actually corresponds to the field that they have in here, because if it doesn't match, it's not going to pull. So make sure you go ahead and match up your field with the field that they have listed in here so it can be pulled, okay? And then go ahead and click OK. I'll click cancel, and let's see, I'm fine with this. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it inserts the address block. First name, last name, their address, city, state, and zip code. And if I want to see what it looks like, come up here on the Mailings tab to the Preview Results group, click on Preview, and it pulls it in to say, okay, once we merge those fields from the database into your letter here, this is what it's going to look like. And that's for, I think, record 3. You can come up here and you can see, there it is, record 3. You can go backwards and see what record 2 looks like. In case if you have one recipient that has a title and other information that's pulling that makes it really long and it needs more space, you may have to reformat your letter here. That's why it's probably good to go through a few of these. Let me go back. The first recipient was excluded because, well, that was a blank record. So that's why record number 1 isn't pulling. So that's why you see 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and turn off the preview results, and we know what the address block looks like. We can go ahead and delete that, and instead you can do other things like Dear, and you know how you have the first name or last name. Well, you can come up here on the Mailings tab to the right and Insert Fields group, and click on Insert a Merge Field, and there we go. All the fields that it can see within the database, which includes the first name, last name, address. Let's do first name, and then comma, because it's not going to insert that for us, and hit Enter. So you've got the Dear first name. Let's preview it. Dear Wilberforce. Let's go backwards. Dear Homer. Dear Doug. Okay, you get the idea. And then remember, within the database, we have other fields like the number of training videos that they purchased. So I can come down here and write it so it says, thank you for purchasing, X amount of training videos. Well, I don't know how many, so I'll want to insert that field from the database, which come back up here, find that field and its videos, select it, and notice that when I have the preview results still on, it shows it for Doug. He purchased a total of 5. Thank you for purchasing 5. Let me get rid of online because we do sell DVDs as well. Thank you for purchasing 5 video training videos, okay? And I can go forward, and Homer purchased 1, and Wilberforce purchased 2. That's pretty cool and pretty powerful. Really like that. Makes them feel special, like instead of dear customer or dear client, thank you for just purchasing something from us. This personalizes it so much more by having those merge fields and pulling in stuff that we can keep track of or that we have kept track of from our database. Okay, next. Now I can come up here with the preview results still on and go through recipients, go backwards and forwards just like you can up here. And you can actually search for a recipient. You can edit the recipients list, or you can exclude this recipient. So if I want to get rid of Homer, click exclude. And now how many recipients are going to be merged? Well, if I go backwards, it looks like I'm on recipient 2 and 4. Those are the only two because the first one, remember, is a blank record. And Homer was number 3, so just a total of 2 here. Or if I go, oops, I didn't mean to exclude him, go ahead and click on Edit Recipient List. And you can see how it unchecked Homer. Recheck him again, click Okie dokie, and hey, he's back, recipient 3. So let's go ahead and click Next. Now we can either go ahead and print it, or what I'd like to do is click on Edit Individual Letters, and the default is all, and click OK. And what that does is it opens up a new window, a Microsoft Word window, with the generic title, Letters 1, and it has it addressed to each recipient, a total of 3. Dear Doug on the first page, Dear Homer second, and Dear Wilberforce on the third. That way, if I need to personalize it a bit more, something that I don't keep track of in their database, I can just come in here to their letter and say, hey, remember the time when we had a lot of donuts? And then just keep typing, that was fun, it was great, hey, hope you buy more videos from us, go ahead and click print, and that's it. Okay, and then I can just come up here, click on the file, go down to print, click print. I'm going to go ahead and click on file, close out of here, not save it. And I have my original merge letter here that I can go ahead and save. Click Save. Let me save it to my desktop and call it and click Save. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Well, close out of my exercises folder. And there's my merge letter. Let me go ahead and double click and open it back up. And when I do, it says, hey, this merge letter is actually tied to a database. Data from that database will be placed into your document. Do you want to continue? So say yes to open it back up. Then that way I can come back up here to the Mailings tab, click on Start Mail Merge, go down to Step by Step, takes me to Step 3. So that way if I need to make any changes, thank goodness it's still tied to my database, the mailing list.xlsx. Edit the recipients here, go ahead and make whatever changes, and then just continue from Step 3, go to Step 4, insert your merge fields, and we already inserted ours, first name, videos, and then go next to preview them. Do you want to exclude anybody? If not, go ahead and click next. Either print them off or edit them individually. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.